Wrong one. There we go. I think that's okay. Hello, everyone. If you're catching the replay, welcome. I'm Steve. Mark's around. Say hi, Mark.
Huh?
Say hi.
Hi, everybody!
This is Smokey Steve and Mark. Welcome or welcome back, and happy Sunday. Sunday. It's Sunday. I'm happy it's Sunday. I hope you're happy it's Sunday, too. Weekend went quick. I had a 3-day one. We're going back to work tomorrow. Back to 90-degree days tomorrow. Yeah, so we'll see. So tonight we are having something that's vaguely Mediterranean as far as dinner. I have pita bread. Those are plums. I have olives and I have hummus. Depends where you're from. To munch on. I was looking in the fridge and I'm like, do we have anything Syrian? And I'm like, no, of course we don't. Like, of course we don't have anything Syrian. But I looked around and like, this is the closest stuff I could Google that they might eat in Syria. So we're having generally vaguely Mediterranean food as a wink and a nudge to Syria, we'll say. Janet, hello. Texas, hello. Roxy, hello. Happy Sunday to y'all. I can see you. I got some new specs. And I can actually read the chat and see my food at the same time. I don't have to pick. Lay low, Annie. That sounds like a lot. Oh, Giro. They sound so good. You can there's a place around here where they actually have a Syrian shawarma. It's like a spin on it from, some family member lived there, and they put so. Yeah, it's Mediterranean-ish. I don't want to be too, particular. So, hey, Mick. Hey, Jason. Hey, Aunt Bixby. These plums, my parents came down today for a visit. They're the ones that are red in the middle that look like jewels. Mm-hmm. So, Edna, what's up? Oh. See how straight we are. Mr. McPheeds can't stay. Hope you and Mark are doing good. We're doing good. Thanks for checking in. You can get to the replay. Y'all have a good night. So, yeah, as we're settling in, we are having some Mediterranean as a wink and a nudge to our fair lady. But also, she is in a delicate position at the moment. So we're going to check in with a little of how she's doing. Every day is probably the same for her. As much as she would want it to be different. It's probably a lot of sweating, fans, and eye rolling. So, Marie Fantouinette, I've never heard that. That is hysterical. No, I haven't watched that. I have not. These olives were like fresh packed. So there was no brine, and there's nothing in the middle. Beauty bite. Oh. But I've been keeping up with Foodie as best as I can through herself and other creators. And it's to the point now where, I think the shine is off of this. This isn't Katimovic. This isn't roughing it across Canada. This is squatting in a war-torn country because you're so emotionally desperate that you'll just about die in order to have someone next to you. So, I don't know. That's a win. No, it's been a while since you've been here. Welcome, Foxy. Hey, Mike. The weekend went too quick, but the weekend was good. Mark got a lot of time outside. I had a lot of time to just chill out, so. She was in Kuwait. She never wanted to go walking. Right? Now that she's in Syria. Oh, God. Now it's in Syria. I can't go walking now. There's no fucking sidewalks. Oh, I wish I could, but I can't. Finally, when she gets into the spirit of wanting to walk, she moves to the only place probably in that hemisphere where it might be complicated to do. She said she essentially just sits around all day with a fan on, and that everyone else is going to have to be accustomed to the fact. So, back from berry picking. Berry picking sounds good. It's that time of year, isn't it, already? God. She'll run back to Natter now that he's single. Allegedly, Dee Dee and Natter broke up. Now, they were together since whenever. And allegedly, they split. +5 for Dee Dee. Though, none of these people I would share a cab with. But, so goes. She converted, too. And now she's going to go play this for a while. These fat white women in the Muslim shit. They do it just till the guy's gone. And then, first thing that goes away is the outfit, and they keep the hijab. And then, one hot day, the hijab comes off, and then that's it. Then it was nothing but a phase. It wasn't faith. It wasn't a manifestation. It wasn't part of a journey. It was a phase. She's going to attach being Muslim with being with him, and when one ends, so will the other one. So, I don't know. These plums are really good, I have to say. So, I have my my doubts as to how things are going now. I'm sure he wants her out of there. He's got to be. I think at this point he takes it as a joke. What else could you take it as at this point? Yeah, the bald thing. It was just a convenience. Yes, stealing is her life work. You're correct. Whether it's Canada, Kuwait, Syria, whether it was Cuba or Thailand, I don't know. I don't know. She would just, she's queen of the rubble. She's queen of the little hovel that she's in. You ever hear of the quote, they burn down the kingdom to rule over the ashes? Well, when she couldn't find a place where she was queen bee, she found a village where she's queen bee. And she's the great white hope who pays for half the electric and all this other shit. And they bring me food all the time. They either think you're pregnant or they're groveling. But, cultural differences really kind of come into play there, too. According to her. Hi, Eileen. No, you're right on time. We just got started. Just getting going. So. So that was annoying to me, Texas. When he's in the background, deliberately trying to annoy her, it would be deliberately annoying to me. I don't really get unannoyed because it's like, oh, well, he's bothering Chantal, so it's not as bad. No, it's irritating anyway. Shut up. I'd rather, if I have to watch her stream, can he at least be quiet in the background? At least, I'm trying to make this palatable to share. So all he wants to do is do nothing. Well, yeah. This isn't romantic. This isn't like The King and I. This isn't anything like... They're not going to climb over the mountains into Switzerland and then be done. Climb every mountain. This is a very different set of circumstances she's in. I don't think she wants to get her head around it, so I don't think she does, which makes her sound naive and ignorant. Of course she is. She could choose to spend the time on TikTok doing some reading. Many people could have become, I don't know about fluent in Arabic in 3 years, but more than nothing. Enough that if I had to find my way out of a sticky situation, I could be self-reliant. She's not. She's not self-reliant. She plays self-reliant like she's pulling the strings, but she's, topping from the bottom, kind of, I guess. Or is it bottoming from the top? One of those things. Don't laugh, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
I can hear Mark in the back. Mm-hmm. No money. She would know by now or within a day or two what her money situation would look like. It would have a big dent from the time that she took off when she was under the radar. She's also, except for the first few days back, hey Jamie, hey Kathy, not making up for the people that was what was lost. So she came back and she had a live, 30,000 people, high 20s, low 30s. But then as the days goes on now, even as she's squatting and people are essentially waiting for something bad to happen to her or for her to try to escape, and you think that would be a pins and needles situation, and she's still getting 10,000 of you. The reaction channels are still getting more because people do want to see how this ends. I want to see how it ends, or at least changes. What could possibly come after the Syria arc? The convent arc? Where are we going next? He wants the money. He wants money. I don't think she anticipated what a kind of a lifestyle he might have been. Probably not even used to. But when you get someone kicked out of the country, the least you can do is spot them for a few months until they get back on their feet. Yes, Kathy, not with Matter anymore. And that would be enough to pull Chantal back. Go to Canada. Sala was a phase. It was all a phase. I just want to bees. I just want to have a good time. And she'll go back. By the way, she looked stoned as fuck the other night while she was streaming, just to put it out there. I know that you can get easier access to some things in Syria. The laws were more loose, and it's kind of a crumbled government, getting back on its feet, so to speak, while things are still getting blown up periodically. Chantal said it was very nice, though, that they get a big warning when there's going to be explosions, and they kind of happen over... Just, like, the duh of it, I can't get my head around. Her money is her only sweet plum. There's no other reason to keep her there. She's another 3 mouths to feed. She's burdensome. She can't go quickly. She can't, she's a means to an end. For the price of having access to money, often, you have to take her with you. So, right now, he's still taking it. So, it's stupid. It's really ignorant. Yeah, she has no concept of what's going on. She's really ignorant to what's happening, and she doesn't realize how ignorant it sounds. Why did Salah leave Kuwait? It was my understanding that she probably got his ass, brought attention to some of his things that were maybe unsavory. This, that, or the other. Or related to his work. Something shifty, because we don't have the truth, And Syria now, Kuwait's a fucking toilet compared to Syria. I couldn't get well in Kuwait. I didn't like how Western it was. Western life, and she talks about Western life. The reason she's 400 pounds, she hates it. She hates it. She would not be 400 pounds if she was born and raised in Syria. I seriously doubt it. And someone would have killed a child that obnoxious. Hi, Steph. How are you? Yeah, she's not worried. She should be worried, but she's too stupid to be worried. She's deliberately out of it. And she knows it gets people hot when she's living in a war zone going, I don't know, I heard a scuffle the other day. Best thing ever. Best ever. She's going to build a wall and Mexico will pay for it. Hey, Joan. So we'll see what she gets to. But I can't imagine what's next. They're going to have to flee. She's not going to stay there and start a new life over this fucking gas burner and with all these other... It's not going to happen. She's too selfish to give to people that long because they can't help her. Right now, they're just ensuring her housing and safety, so she'll throw a little money, but I don't know. Non-stupid decisions. When you make more of those than the other, things start to go like this. Here a bomb, there a bomb. Exactly. And she's like, it's no big deal. We only have power 3 hours a night, and it's from 1 to 4 in the morning. You're telling me you're happier with this? This is when you're a little bratty kid, and you order something off the menu, and you don't know what it is, and mom and dad said you're going to hate it, and then you order it anyway, and you hate it, but you eat it smirking so that you won't have to admit that you were wrong. That's Syria. Her snuffing down something she can't stand eating. Her off the insulin? Well, it'll get interesting quick. The most curious thing in all of this, and it's the only curious thing. Salva traveled, Salva was here, he was there. I can't believe the cat made it. I can't believe with things like border crossings and skin of your teeth, getting across, country lines, that it was okay to bring the cat. I don't... John, it's supposed to be very dangerous, generally outside. Now, in the situation that she and other folks are in, there might not be a lot of options otherwise. So unsafe is not ideal, but when it's none, that's the other, you have to be willing to try. Hello. Hello, Kelga. Oh, the cat with the poodle? Did you see? It had to get shaved because the bitch didn't brush it probably. But it had the face, the tip of the tail, like a poodle would be done. If I was Julia, I'd be so pissed. So pissed. We are lucky with the kitties. Bandit's a long hair, but he takes really good care of himself, and Mark brushes him, so he doesn't get matted. And Oscar's too short-haired, it wouldn't matter. So... yeah, Salva doesn't have as many places he can go. She could up and leave. But this is supposed to help them bond together. This is This is the poorly used definition of trauma bonding. Trauma bonding not being two people who went together through the same hard thing. Because does it look like she's being traumatized? She's too busy online. Get me ice cream. In a Syrian, get me ice cream. I want ice cream. We've been stuck inside all day. And the waking up and the sleeping hours where she's pretty much sleeping during the hottest parts of the day. And then up all night, using all the power. And Salwa gets up intermittently to scream at her, laugh, and then go back to bed. It's pretty funny, actually. Yeah, Julia's pissed. Fuck her. I'll give them this. They did the right thing bringing the cat. The right thing would have been to leave the cat at Paws Kuwait. Ditching the cat would have been bad. But, Nancy, can you imagine a long blackout? They'd be dead. Now it's scary. Thank you for the super chat. And yes, I do think they'd be dead. I mean, she can't. Blood sugar, electrolytes, hot, fat. If she had no co-occurring problems, 400 pounds in 100-degree heat she's gonna have heat stroke. Something's gonna happen. And they're not gonna be able to get her somewhere she needs to be. You know, she's gonna need access to a hospital that, they're not gonna have bariatric beds in Syria. They barely have them in rural hospitals in the States because not as many people need them, so they don't keep them on hand. I mean, more people need them now, but... Yeah, I was saying stuff. She used to have to push a man around. Now she can push around a village. Get me rice. Bring me water. Bring me this. And she just she needs to sit there with a big chair with all palm fronds kind of behind it, like she's a drug lord, and just orders people around. Well, she'll find out how nice they are if the money doesn't come through. The discussion was either she was going to be dead-ass broke, or that her money wouldn't be able to be in Syria because she was publishing in Syria. She says her money's out of Canada, but it doesn't matter where the account is. My understanding, you can't monetize publishing while you're there, and that's where she's published from. It doesn't matter that the money's going to another continent. So that's my understanding of what's going on. I don't think she's dropped the ball yet as to what's happened. So it was the principle of the thing. Yeah, I just wanted to go out. I just wanted to do... look. This man is... Do you know how different his plans would be if she wasn't with him? And he told her not to come. It's not like he was ambiguous about it. He said, don't come. In the first day she got there. I told you not to come. She's acting like he just was a put-off. He was just worried about me, but I can take care of us in this... Whatever. But she's running, she's no fireman. She's not running into the disaster to be of help. She's not there to provide aid. She's not there for any other reason than to try to keep the man who's fleeing. Which I think is a riot, but... Elizabeth, going back to Canada and getting with Nader, I think is something a lot of people figure she's going to do at some point. I can see it, honestly. Because it's like a safety, but she's going to have to pull in Pete's to get some help. I think her family's burnt. I think if she wants to go back to Canada, she's going to have to find a place to squat. And she's going to have some money to do it. Yeah, I don't feel bad for Salah worth a damn. He thought he was getting one over. Surprise! She thought she was getting one over. Surprise! When something happens, when there's a bombing, when the power goes out, like was said, what if it goes out for a long period of time? What's she gonna do? She says she's having problems with hygiene because there's not always, I wouldn't worry about hot water in that temperature, but there wasn't anything they could do to clean. So she's sweating into clothes that she has a hard time washing because she doesn't have access to the things she needs. And then sweating through them, and then rashes. And yes, stink aside, the stink would hit you first. But aside from that, if she's diabetic, which just because you stop taking your insulin doesn't mean the diabetes goes away. It means it's not at the front of your mind until your leg falls off. But any medical problem, she's going to be jammed up with any sort of medical thing. But beside the stink, she can't take care of herself. She could get sick. And cellulitis B's indeed, Andy. And then what is she going to do? Like, what's she going to do after that? She wins. You can go sit your ass in the sand and rotate. It's not going to... She needs this to work. She needs this to come off as successful. She cannot put a face out there of, I made bad decisions. Even if they did, she's got to make like, well, I lived with it, I will deal with it. I don't think she's at the point where she was willing to go, you know what, this is all a fucking mistake. So, she has a man. This is true. She does have a man. Where's your man? You can't even get a man. Where's your man? And she used to do that shit with French Fry Girl all the time. Who cares? Where's your man? Your man told you to stay. He said, don't come. Don't be here. And he either said it because he doesn't like you or because he loves you. Either way, you shouldn't have come over. Either way. Man, technically. I mean, he has the biology, almost the anatomy, to convince you that he was a man. But I don't think, she kind of has a man. Yeah, she kind of has a man. I don't know how she'd get out of there. I don't know. She'd have to go to a city with an airport, which I guess would be Damascus, but they're outside of that area, and that's where there's been bombing. So, the kids do just stare at her. To be fair, the kids in Thailand stared at her. Probably the kids in Canada stared at her. I think a lot of other ones stared at her, just to be fair. She has Salah in Syria. I would rather be anywhere but there. If Mark lived, let's say Mark and I met in a neutral place, and he was from, let's say, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is not the Bronx, is not Syria. She compared one to the other. But let's say, I don't know about Pittsburgh. He hasn't been there in years, and before I go with him, he would want to get there, get set up, get us an apartment, get us ready for life. That's thoughtful. That's the kind of thing I want to give him time to do. And so I wait a month, and then he goes and we're together. Either you find out the love was real, or you find out they're not there in a month because they've gone on with life. Wouldn't you rather know than not? Like, wouldn't you rather wrap it up real quick? Like, this is either true love, because no one would do this dumb shit, or it's a complete waste, a completely stupid waste. And hindsight's going to be 20/20, but you hear the kitty? He's singing for Mark. Bandit! He'll stop. It was really selfish. She was perfectly fine in Canada. She's just creating problems. She just inserted herself, typical Chantal, inserted herself into a volatile situation. And then, yes, that's Bandit singing. Bandit gets lonely from Mark. So if Mark goes outside, Bandit will sing out the windows, through the halls, all over the place. Yep. That's how he goes. But suffice it to say, like I said, if I was going to see if Mark and I had split and he was going to get someplace ready for me to come, there's two options. Either don't come means I love you, I want it to be as best as it can when you arrive, or I hate you, stay the fuck away from me, I hope within a month you forget whom I am. And she just went, she inserted herself. She brought her TV. She brought her CPAP. She brought all her shit. It's her old MO. It's her very well identified, and she'll say out loud, MO. Start bringing your shit over to their apartment. Just bring more and more and more stuff, and it's hard to get them to throw you out that way and get them to leave. Remember when we get back to Natter, because she'll talk about him again. She already started talking about him. She could be 3 days from dead, and she's talking about Natter and Dee Dee. But what's up? Yeah, just get in his house. That was the line she had. If I can just get in his house, I'll be fine. It'll be fine. Remember that CPAP was life or death. Now she can go for blackouts for 20 hours at a time. Which is fine. It's only an emergency when she needs it to be an emergency. It was an emergency enough then to call the cops. Do you have Gator going off regarding Sala? I had my suspicions. I don't know. I think in another part of the world he'd be a little more adventurous. I think he'd probably find himself in circles, given his sexual preferences and his fetishes. All the fetishes mild of rape and shit. Everything south of that, away from it. He'd find communities of people that would do that kind of stuff. And it would probably be mixed community of female and male. And maybe he'd be involved on some level there. He might be interested in having sex or some kind of sex with a man, but I don't see him getting into like a relationship like Mark and I have. Like he's not going to get a guy and get a house and, you know, make terrariums and do whatever the gay people do. He's just going to do him. He's going to have, it's unacceptable for him to be gay publicly. So you do whatever on the side, as long as you got the wife and the kids and the other stuff. Masculinity looks different culture to culture. Like there's Latin America and then there's Middle East and then there's parts of the West, and it's, you know, it's not the same everywhere. But I think socially, even if he does like boys or men, he's never gonna be able to do anything about it. I'll tell you, guys are less picky. He's cute enough, he would do. You know. We've seen the naked pictures, but yes, Aunt Vicky, on the low, on the DL. And he would do a lot. He'd be like a closet hoe with a whole lot of men on the side. There's Bandit again. Bandit! Oh, he's upset. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. Bandit! What is it, pumpkin? So needy. He reminds me of me. God. Anyway, we're back. Sorry about that. I had to make sure the cat was okay. The cat is okay. The cat is perfectly fine. So. She looks hot. She looks stoned. You know, and I know she can get easier access to stuff in Syria. The laws around alcohol aren't the same in Syria, even when the country's on the up and up. But when things are kind of a little more disorganized, you can probably get away with more. Very stoned, yeah. And I mean, could I blame her? I mean, if I found myself in her situation, I'd want to get high. But she chose it. It's almost like I feel okay for Solid a bitch because he had no choice because she got him thrown out of Kuwait. But any complaint she has, I'm not interested. Not interested. She did it to herself. He told her not to come. He didn't know how to be bought. You can tell when a guy has only ever watched porn before and never really talked to a woman or a man or a partner, because they just regurgitate the shit that you hear in porn, which nobody talks like that. You know, maybe if you're really loaded, but like no one really does that body, I'm the boss, that kind of thing. In the videos that he's watching and in the pornography he's watching, it's happening. But when he tries to do it in real life, you know, he's not an actor. He's not a porn actor, and he's not a natural alpha. So it sounds funny. It sounds like he's reading lines. It'd be if I was reading those lines. Oh, baby, put it right there. Oh, God. Oh, Salah. Oh, God. Oh, Allah. You know, scripted, with no passion to it. She does. She says he complains more. I wonder if he doesn't give her a good smack off camera. I really have, like, that's no. Yeah. Yeah, the babe thing. Oh, they noticed us saying babe, but he insists on calling me babe, so I'm sure he does. I'm sure he insists on it. When she can't leave? I don't know. If he has to leave and she can't, you know, what do? Her passport, she thinks it's like the keys to the kingdom. She has a Canadian passport, so she can walk all over the world without having to answer to anybody. At least that's the vibe that she gives off. Closet abuser? It wouldn't surprise me. But it's kind of like with Natter. It was back and forth. Like if she's abusive in her way and he's abusive this way, is there really a victim? Doesn't victim mean perpetrator, victim? You know, if you take turns doing both roles, it's really hard to come out at the end of a situation like that and say, by the way, I was the only person who was being hurt. No, we watched you chase the dude down, drive to his house, break your way in, call the cops. Like, Neo Taro says she'll die there. Well, take the Vegas odds on that. But I don't think two children squabbling is basically, and you're correct, is the bottom line. It's just they're just bitching to each other. They're just bickering. He's complaining more than me, like it's a long car trip and they're in the back road. They're in the back seat. Cockroach, yes she is. After the nuclear holocaust, there will be cockroaches and Foodie Beauty. Maybe Cher. Foodie Beauty. Nothing left. And she'll still need to fucking stream to feel important. I don't think if she had the camera on and she had like this to do, she'd have anyone to talk to. You guys are great. I like checking it. But I think many of you, and I do too, have people in real life we could talk to. People that we would consider family or even just friends, you know, just to like check in with. And Solid, from what I understand, is there with some family. That there's a family connection, a distant family connection to the place they're living. Because I would think, well, how the fuck could they find a place to live in Syria? Just roll up and rent? There's a big for rent sign in front, right at Welcome to Syria. So, he had the roots there. He got him there, but... Well, you know what, Steph, you make a point. Even if they were just platonic friends, she's not even a good friend, let alone a good wife. She's selfish. She'll say she pays for everything, but the cost of her paying is her coming with. And I don't think she can fathom that someone would say, your company is so unpleasant that I would rather turn down money than spend time with you. I don't think she could fathom someone saying that. Oh, Nancy, she doesn't speak the language. She had years. She used to be able to say, I've only been here a week. I've only been here a year. I've only been here 2 years. She didn't go out and learn anything. She didn't stay home and independently study. She didn't join any groups. She didn't learn anything about their religion. And all that shit would be fine, except she went in there on the high horse that all that stuff was going to happen. And then you'll see you guys were wrong about me. And then you'll know things are different and things have changed. She's the same weight, if not more. She's sweatier and she's sicker than when she got there. She's in less ideal housing than she would normally be in. And she has different access to utilities and luxuries while she's there. But, you know, she's ruling over a pile, and it makes her feel special. It makes her feel in charge. Like I said, she's usually just bossing one person around. Now she's got a whole bunch of people to do her whim, and she gets to play Daddy No Bucks over there. War bucks. Civil War bucks. Nader got sick of her. And, you know, Nader's like her in that he'd cut his nose off to spite his face, too. He's so stubborn that he would be like, fuck it. I will hurt myself even if it means that to hurt you. She's from the same boat. They have that in common, Nader and Chantal. So at a certain point, he cut her off and was like, fine, thanks for your money, but I don't like you. Bye. And that was it. And she couldn't stand someone being that honest. It pissed her off. She liked it, but she didn't like it. You know, she probably liked it from him, but it's embarrassing to show. Yeah, she is going to burn the place down. People had a lot of concerns about that gas thing that she was lighting. I mean, you only have what options you have. So, if he does talk to other women the way Cabela's, it'll be hard to find a replacement. It wasn't like there was a hell of a long line to get to him. You know, he was cruising for a passport. I mean, a wife. And had his things set, you know, looking. As far as I know, Maria, they have split. I've only heard Dee Dee's side of the split. That it was amiable, she's going to go on with her life and be a modest Muslim woman and blah, blah, blah. From what I understand, it was real. I haven't heard otherwise. But again, if we're talking Natter, rule number one applies to Natter as much as it applies to Foodie Beauty. You know, there's dishonesty. I think he's a little more honest because he's less worried about backlash. You know, Chantal knows that her income is tied to her demeanor, her words, her actions. Natter's isn't. He doesn't live off a channel like she does, so he can speak more freely. You can always tell when she writes the community posts. Men don't put smiley faces, generally, in their posts with bunches of hearts. I mean, I do, but most men probably won't. Not your stern, misogynistic Arab husband. I mean, the English that he was texting when he was talking scat porn was broken then, to say nothing about trying to have to think on the cuff. Like, I only have one. I took Spanish when I was in junior high and high school. And I have a very limited ability. I can read pretty well. I can say a few things, but my conversational is awful. And what the hell's the point if I can't talk? But the foundation, the focus at the time on language was boot verbs, memorizing lists of vocabulary, past, present, future tense, all subjunctive, all that other stuff. Whereas now it's more about conversational. Can you speak the language? So she didn't have to necessarily go to a classroom or a school or anything. She could have went on like Babbel and just got the basics, just enough to order ice cream. Enough that if she wanted to get ice cream, she could get in the car herself, go, get ice cream, and come back. That's not a lot of words to learn, but still too much. Just still too much, apparently. So, itchy. I don't know. Intermission. Fake break. These glasses are still unfriendly with glare, but I can see a whole hell of a lot better. I know. It already Syria looks like she's already driven through there. But she's also made herself a target. And, you know, her wanting to be, you know, seen by us as a particular kind of person is demonstrating a kind of person to the people she's around. So she can show off to us, oh, I'm on my phone and we have a car and I have this. Other people with a hell of a lot less are seeing her walking around, maybe being jealous and maybe planning to take it. I'm having 3 cigarettes a day, 2 to 3, and then vaping. So I haven't quit smoking, but I've cut down a lot, from a pack and a half a day to 2. And then the vape lasts me like a week. So my cost for tobacco per month has gone down by 80%. Very noticeable. So that's good. Fatty Warbucks, God love her. I think most parents would be terrified if their child was there. But she's treated her family so poorly that aside from the general obligation, oh, my daughter, my baby, I think she's as enthusiastic about it as I am. She's been ditched by her family because they've been inconvenient a lot. But they're the safety net, too. I get the feeling this last trip to Canada, the safety net wasn't really as much as there she would like. You know, sit in the car, don't come in, don't this, don't that. So, sounds like they have some rules at home, finally, with her. And as long as she can keep taking all her money and go get in hotel rooms in towns where people don't like her because they don't even want her in their home, you know. Exactly, Elizabeth. Out of sight, out of mind. They're just done with her. Could you blame them? I will say for my own family, because I have a curious past. And my parents were always in the loop. You know, I was always staying in their home. If I went to the hospital or to a rehab or to jail, I would go back to their place. And it didn't keep me sick. They just never went away. They just stayed there. And they were around for it. But had it gone on longer, I don't know how long they would have put up with it. And you'll always hear people who've been through rough situations say, my parents loved me, they never stopped believing in me, and that's why I got well. I think my parents never stopped loving me, but there was no evidence I was going to get better. It's like Chantal. It's like, God, you hope they're going to be fine, but there's no... How are you going to stitch that together? How are you going to make a life out of that mess that's left there? My mess wasn't as bad as Chantal's. I didn't start in the Middle East. But she can find her way out of it, but she's not even in her own reality right now, let alone contemplating life changes or growth. Her immediate needs need to be food, clothing, shelter, safety. She needs to go to the very bottom of the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the little bottom of that pyramid, just the basics. I mean, food she'll always make sure. She can go, of all the things she doesn't need, she can go without food the longest. Aside from electrolyte imbalance, if she had enough water, she can go a pretty long time without food. It would help the other people who are starving for her to eat less, because it impacts her less. I know, Maria, people always feel sorry for her family, and she does, I think she treats them poorly. Now, I don't know what she was raised with. I always had the feeling Chantal was raised by wolves, and that her mother meant well, but probably wasn't very good at being a mother. And so Chantal turned out this way, and she turned into this kind of adult. You know, she turned into the kind of teenager that never stopped being a teenager. She just kept part of that personality into adulthood, that kind of precocious, bratty, oh, she's a bitch, just kidding. Adding just kidding to the end of everything so you can get out of the accountability of saying it. You know, she's kidding. Addiction's hard, but I've seen sicker people than me, sicker people than her get better. Her mom was young. Yeah, her mom was young, which makes it tough regardless. You know, and I don't know that her grandma was a big influence in Chantal's life. Her grandmother was the one who spoiled her. Grandma was the one who was the fixer, would come and get her out of the group home she was in, tried to get her out of like Katima. Like, Grandma was probably the one Chantal went to and said, Mom isn't doing this and that. Do you even think she loves me anymore? Can we go for ice cream? Chantal learned early how to manipulate situations to get what she wants. Now, when you're a kid, that's a survival skill. I don't blame a 12-year-old Chantal for manipulating situations to get what she wants. However, dear, at 40, 41, 42, you know, those kind of things, it's not cool. We're in a time now, Foxy, where I think being manipulative used to be seen as a bad thing. Now it's seemed as like a resourceful skill. And if you're not being manipulative to get ahead in things, then you're not being smart about going forward. This has to do with like family, business, politics. It just seems like there's a different kind of, it seems smart to be manipulative. Not cruel, not sneaky, smart. Like people who, you know, abuse the tax code. Well, I'm smart, I don't pay that many taxes. Well, you cheat so you don't pay many taxes. Hey, what can I tell you? That's the kind of vibe I kind of get. So her being manipulative is nothing new. She's been doing it since she was a child. But her doing it as an adult, I think, is unacceptable. Regardless of what her childhood looked like, it's been 30 years since she was a kid. So, victimless, absolutely. Nonsense. Nonsense. She's a brat. She acts like a spoiled brat. And sometimes it works. And she'll put it on her chat. And try to lay guilt trips on them. And try to, from them. Oh, the cat's hungry. I'm going to start a charity. I need insulin. Any reason to send money. But not a super chat. Send it now to my Cash App or my PayPal. So I can cut out YouTube and their 30%. And I can have the money immediately. Yeah, it's my fault she's in Syria. I practically begged her to go. We all did, didn't we? We said, God, Chantal, if you want to find happiness, you gotta. My cat lover, you. The cats hate me. I think you're probably closer to right, if not completely right, Orca. I don't think she had too many choices. Where was she going to go? She can go back to Canada, maybe. But if she's passing from country to country to country and staying for very short periods of time, she's going to get flagged at every border she tries to cross. She's coming in and out of war-torn countries, going to the West. We have no-fly lists and warning travel advisories that say, get your ass out of Syria. We're not coming to get you. That's what they have for the Canadian travel advisories. If you plan to use them as your rescue, you should know what the rules are, too. You know, not to be a dick, just saying. Like, if you think you're going to be saved, you got to find out who's saving you, how, and when. Because the time could be... It's not going to be tomorrow. It could be this afternoon. It doesn't have to be someday. It could be today. It could be around dinner time something could happen. So, I'm not going to pretend to understand the situation she's in, but I'm not going to attempt to defend how she got there in the situation she's in. The only thing that could defend her going there is control issues and loneliness. And jealousy. She doesn't want him talking to any other woman. Anywhere. Not at customs. Not at the store. Not the woman selling ice cream. Nothing. And she can't take it. Her mind gets to her. She can't relax. She's too neurotic. She can't just go, all right, well, my husband's there. She's too... Is he cheating? What is he doing? Why do you think he's cheating? Oh, because he did before. Well, then why did you marry him? If you don't want to sit there and play mind games, like if you can't sit comfortably and think my husband loves me and I trust him and I can see him in a month and it's not going to ruin our relationship. In fact, he loves me more by asking me to stay away because it's an unsafe place and unstable. That would be one thing. He straight up said, don't come. I told you don't come. I just couldn't wait, honey. She did burn a lot of bridges. I can't imagine she would have burned bridges to the point... I mean, I can't imagine she couldn't go back and be homeless in Canada. You're better off being homeless in Canada than housed. I mean, her situation in Canada, Pete's is living better than she is. We really do draw lines between, Western first world spoils and then how other people live. So, yeah. Ice cream. She wants ice cream. With sprinkles. And hot fudge. It's not cool. And she treat him like a servant. I mean, I hope she is paying him. If you're going to treat the guy like a fucking butler and translator and chauffeur, I hope she's paying him. Pete's, I don't know. I've lost track of Pete's living situation. He was renting a room somewhere. But I don't know if it was at his mom's or family's or somebody. She is losing her audience, Barbara. They're getting sick of her in the chat. The people that like her are going, stop talking about sensitive shit, stop filming things, and get the hell out of there. How could Sala be upset and not want you to go? He told you to not come. She wants to be there. She's neurotic. And I said, she thinks this is going to woo him and win him over. I was there for him when he needed me. Look, if he doesn't like you, it doesn't matter. If he doesn't like you, he'll take what he wants and then just leave you. Thought he was still renting a room. That was my understanding. T-girl, hello, hello, hello. What's up with the what's up? This is what our Mediterranean delight is on its way out. I did look, and the closest thing to Syrian food I can find in Scranton is a place that does shawarma and stuff like that. But one of the family members must have been Syrian, so there's a Syrian spin on a chicken shawarma kind of, I don't know, thing. Which looked good. Otherwise, through all of Uber Eats and DoorDash, I couldn't find anything. We ended up just putzing through the house, and I'm like, well, I have olives. Mark was out, so I said pick up some hummus. Yeah, they can't hear her. The people that like her want to see more than just, she's ceiling. It's been said here, it's been said everywhere. All she does is lay down and do nothing. That's what she did in Thailand, that's what she did in Cuba, it's what she did in Canada, it's what all she needs is a couch and people to bitch to. Who can't respond. She doesn't like doing it to humans because they say things back, like Sala. She'll bitch to the chat because she can just, boop, you don't exist. She can delete unfriendly comments. Can't really do that with your husband, so. Shoo. Yeah, she has to use the bathroom a lot. Disgusting. So disgusting. Why? Because I'm a woman? No, because you're a pig. A monster. I shouldn't call her an animal. She's more of a monster. Animal, monster. They're a different thing. The color of the couch has changed. This is true. This is true. And I imagine the wear and tear on the couch has also changed. But I think the situation she's in now with food and that and rationing, she's like totally oblivious to it, thinks nothing's going to impact her, nothing's going to affect her. Even if it affects the people she's living with, it's not going to impact her. She has the I can buy my way out of here thing. Her privilege at this particular place kind of almost puts a bullseye on her back. And she's not seeing it that way. She thinks she's being admired and adored, which of course she would love. But I think she's being used, probably. If a wealthy person moved into the building and offered to pay for half the heat, I'd let them. Sure. But then if they started wanting shit, like have my kids bring them food, I don't know about all that. Wherever you go, there you are, and you're 100% correct. She brought herself with her everywhere. Mm-hmm. Pita and hummus. Red pepper hummus, too. So. She said she paid for the water, but there was some DMs that came out from Salah's family and said it's 50-50. They're not paying for shit. Yeah. You know, like, this would be like the big life arc. I lived in a war zone for a period of time. You know, for someone with a life so simple and so as hers, that would be a big deal. She wants ice cream. She's not learning about what's going on. She's not trying to be helpful to her husband. She's not trying to console him. You know, like make sure he's okay. That was the point of coming, to make sure he was all right? Not just to be a burden. She's an ATM. She's a 400-pound ATM that sweats. And I think he was okay with even that for a while, probably. But I don't think he's okay with it anymore. I think it's too much. It's too much to ask. Come sit with me in a war zone. It was hard to stay with her in a hotel room, let alone in a place where there's limited electricity, limited places to breathe, limited everything. And she complains nonstop. The air conditioning here doesn't work. She justifies leaving the electricity on all the time because she pays for some of the solar paneling or whatever. So she doesn't take care of him. The cooking and the cleaning is like, those are kind of gendered activities that she's expected to do. It's not one of those, here's how it is in our family. It's kind of like, no, there's a cultural expectation. These tasks in the home will be done by this person. Now, mind you, Salah is apparently out there just collecting money from real estate ventures. His responsibility is supposed to be to work. Like, he's supposed to bring in money, and she tends to the home. She stays home and brings in money. He goes out and pretends to be a grown-up. I don't know. Wherever he goes during the day, whatever women he's meeting during the day, whatever he's doing. Sugar butter. Hello. So I'm not really sure where this next period of time is going to go. I can't imagine she's going to stay in Syria. I'm guessing she's going to go to an adjacent country. That's my best guess about what she'll do next. She won't get on a plane. She'll do ground travel and end up somewhere over a border. She'll leave Salah after saying she could never leave him and crossing the border. She'll leave him. Foxy, I'm a better Muslim housewife than she is. At least I sweep the kitchen floor, make dinner, tend to the cat. Godspeed, Kelga. Good luck. So, she'll have an eye-opening experience when she goes to the hospital for exhaustion. Yeah, she's going to be next to people who are in dire straits. Not her. Oh, I didn't drink enough today, I guess. It's a little hot. Oh, go be a burden on a strange system. Go show off in front of people with little food how much you can eat. Drive around where people are walking and put expensive solar panels on the roof for other people to admire. She's setting herself up. It's not going to be good. Things are going to go missing. They'll get stolen. They'll be threatened. She'll wonder why, because she's oblivious. Because she can't even travel abroad as a vacation, let alone squat during times of crisis. So, no toothbrush, bright cleaners. I don't think she cares about the toothbrush. I don't think it's keeping her up at night. I really, really, really don't. Don't think she cares. You'll never see her in profile. She has her 2 front teeth, which I think are capped, but they look pretty good. But then she has a lot of damage on the side. So I don't think her toothbrush is the biggest deal that she's worried about not having. She's more worried about knockoff KFC. It just can't be there. But unless she plans to live in Syria for another, I don't know, 30 years, she might not see things coming full circle. You think she does this on purpose, or is she actually this aloof? I don't know. You think you know, Panda, don't you? Like, you think, oh, God. You think, what kind of an idiot would put themselves in that position? But then, she'll do a lot for attention. For a man's attention, she'll do a lot. Would she do it for ours, too? You know, she's always kind of, someone had mentioned, like, parasuicidal. Like, she's always halfway, doesn't care if she lives or dies. So these risky situations mean nothing. Driving drunk means nothing. She almost, as much as she loves life, she doesn't care if she lives or dies. So these risky situations aren't, like, I don't know. You don't keep up or speculate. We keep up a little bit on the low now. We chat once a week, but I don't have my big binder. I don't have my, all that kind of shit with it. I keep up with her, and then we chat, and I didn't like the olives too much. I only left a few. And just BS and talk. So we can talk about Foodie here. We're not married to the topic, but she's certainly a safe topic to talk about. And I still keep up with her. So, scared of elevators, yeah. Because she's fat. I'm sure she's had a few cha-chunks getting into an elevator. She's a big person, you know. Fascinate is the word, isn't it, Foxy? She is fascinating, isn't she? It's one way to frame it, certainly. Fascinating. She's a curiosity. She's also that. She's an enigma, wrapped in a riddle, wrapped in puff pastry, I guess. So, yeah, she thinks this is good content. I don't know. But to the people around her, it's a real life. So this is the same as the Muslim costumes. So you're going to put on the costume and say that you're Muslim. Now you're going to go squat in a war zone and act like you're in it, like you have a stake in the game, like you didn't drive there yourself, whatever. If we see her next week, we'll catch up then. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for joining me for dinner, and thanks for being here. Please do hit the thumbs up if you'd be so kind. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe. You can join now. We have memberships available. Include some member photo albums we've had going up this week. We have a member live, actually written in blood this time, for our members. And then Mark's working on some emoji stills. So we're in the groove, in the loop with that. So thank you for joining, and thank you for watching. I think that's it. So Mark will be catching up with you next. You'll be seeing him soon. I don't know when. And good luck. So look out for yourselves, look out for each other, and we'll see you soon. Bye.